Hey there, I'm DPadGamer, and I have one simple question. Do you feel limited? Do you wish you had unlimited power, unlimited money, unlimited seeds? Well, you've clicked on the right video. Let's jump into a land of blocks, rocks, and colorful socks with some glitches in Terraria. We'll be jumping through the various versions of the game and looking at some notable glitches, starting at the very beginning, all the way back to May 16th, 2011, almost exactly 7 years ago at the time of making this video. Things were very different. A lot of what players knew and love about this game isn't here yet, but it's still quite recognizable. The first glitch we have revolves around the dirt rod, which was sold by the Dryad for 20 gold. The glitch was only on the 1.0 version of the game, and was fixed within 6 days of release with patch 1.0.2. At 5 mana per use, it allows the player to pick up and manipulate dirt piece by piece. The only issue here is that sand, at this point, was not working properly. If you try to pick up a piece of dirt with sand on top of it, one of two things would happen. First off, you can see that with this large pile, the sand would fall down and compress into the dirt, creating a small ball of destruction. On top of looking really cool, this would deal 12 damage to enemies, making it a pretty decent attack. The other, more volatile result is that upon clicking and holding the dirt, the sand would replicate extremely quickly, like so. With that, you have unlimited sand. Turn it into glass, then bottles for an endless source of gold. Moving on to the 1.1 version of the game is the next notable glitch. This update brought so much more content to the game. The Wall of Flesh, hard mode, its bosses, and like 100 new items and numerous enemies. With all that new content, it also brought with it a brand new glitch. This time we'll need a chest, something to put into the chest, some active stone blocks, and a switch. Not the console, the item. When you have a chest on active stone blocks, if the blocks are made inactive, the chest is supposed to break and fall. However, in Terraria, chests which have items in them tend to prevent the blocks underneath from being destroyed or moved. Thus, there is a conflict. If you right click on the filled chest while it's sitting on inactive stone blocks, it'll break and produce another of itself, and thus, infinite chests. This works for all types of chests, and you can actually sell a lot of them for a bunch of cash money. On to the 1.2 version of the game, we were given loads of new content and bounces to hard mode. Among the various new items was the Rod of Discord, rather than something to do with the chat client. This magic staff allowed the player to teleport themselves all over the place. It also happened to be extremely overpowered, because at this point it cost nothing to use. With this, if you grappled onto a block with a multi-hook, like the Ivy Whip, the Rod of Discord allowed you to travel great distances while still connected to your hook. While this has no real use, it's pretty fun to grapple onto spots an entire map away from each other. The 1.2 version also brought with it the Titanium Armor set. If you don't know, its set bonus is that you briefly become invulnerable after striking an enemy. While this is great for a one-time dodge, it has an internal cooldown of 30 seconds, making it okay. Until the 1.2.3 patch, there was an exploit where if you have 9 buffs active and receive the Titanium Armor set bonus as the 10th buff, the internal cooldown will be ignored and you'd have a sorta unlimited invulnerability. Even against the Dungeon Guardians, which are supposed to deal 1000 damage per tick, can't touch this dodging fool, until your shadow dodge wears off. Still, this is incredibly powerful for taking down bosses, which is why it was patched within, it took them about 5 months. Oh well, you can't win them all. Now let's jump into the 1.2.4 version of the game. This version brought minecarts, which will be important shortly. First, here's some other stuff that also works. Namely, boulders. These roly-poly, crush-roly balls of destruction have been in the game for a bit, but there's something neat that you can do. First, you should know that when placed, the boulders are supposed to remain inert, until something pushes them. Drop a workbench and place a couple of blocks like so, to act as a shield for yourself. When you place a boulder, they'll immediately start rolling, which shouldn't happen. If you equip the brick layer, you can place boulders at an incredible speed, which is just faster than normal. Look at them go. It's so hypnotic. Have you ever got tired of building houses for the ever-growing population of NPCs? Well, there's a way to build a house that is one size fits all. As you can see, it's a pretty simple design. I mean, it's got a chair, a workbench, a torch, all the basics needed to keep an NPC imprisoned. I mean, happy. This design has the NPCs, oddly enough, spawn in a little nook outside the room. As new NPCs show up, each will claim the house for it themselves, without losing any prior tenants. Give it enough time and you'll have a barrel full of people stuck in here, hence the safety structure on the outside. This infinite housing exploit was later patched and resurfaced with a brand new design in 1.3.2.1, but that was also later patched, so that's why I'm just showing this one. Anyways, now let's look at how minecarts are important. Grab yourself some booster and normal tracks. Set them up wherever, aiming up into the distance. Now, when you go to roll across the booster tracks, hold the opposite direction. Instead of slowing down, which is what the game tries to do, it gives you incredible speed. I wasn't able to replicate it myself, but in the video back from 2014, Demize showed off that with enough speed the character will fly right through the world, only coming to a stop when hitting the edge of the world. Have you ever heard of a HOIK? In the context of Terraria, a HOIK is what you call using sloped blocks to displace the character in a predictable direction. As you see here, we have the platform hammered into the stairs, leading into the first slope. When the player moves into it while holding down, in this situation, you'll be pushed through to the other side. HOIKs work in all directions, you just need the right setup. This glitch is not specific to 1.2.4, but what I found on HOIKs were mostly recorded in the 1.2.4 patch, which is why I'm showing it here. One real use of HOIKs is a cross-map transportation tunnel. Just use the stairs to get started and you'll fly across the map at 0 miles per hour. It makes sense, I guess. You're not actually moving, just getting repositioned very quickly. HOIKs can be used by players to move in all 4 cardinal directions, as well as items of any size, as well as enemies and bosses. I know I'm not showing much here, but entire videos on this topic can and have been made. If you're looking for further research on HOIKing, I have linked a few key videos from Gravitas, a proper Terraria scientist, in the description. Alright, here we go. We finally found ourselves at present day Terraria. At the time of making this video, the rest of the glitches should work on the current day version of Terraria, 1.3.5.3. First off, here's something neat that you can do using multi-hooks. Find yourself a 1 block wide hole and hook against the wall repeatedly while aiming upwards. Your player should be moved up and through, even though you're not supposed to be able to fit. When you unhook, you'll be slightly through the blocks that were behind you, which allows you to slip right through if that wall is only 1 block wide. It's a great trick for secret bases. On the topic of going where you're not supposed to, here's a reliable way to enter the jungle temple early, using only some platforms and a hammer. First, find yourself the temple's entrance. We'll be going right through the door, but not with the key. Place 6 wooden platform pieces, 3 on the inside and 3 on the outside like so. Now hammer each of them once to turn them into stairs. Move against the door while holding down, and you should walk right through. No problem. Leaving is just as easy. Congratulations, you can now die to the temple's traps much earlier than usual. Back up on the surface, there is a great way to get unlimited bait and seeds using the flower boots. Those magical boots will sprout flowers on the dirt or mud underneath your player. If you drop a flare right below you, the flowers will constantly spawn and get destroyed. This will create loads of seeds, as well as little bugs to be swept up and used as bait. On that note, here's a glitch that allows you to achieve unlimited fishing lines. First, you'll need to turn on the auto pause option in the settings. This will pause the game whenever the menu is opened. Now, with your fishing pole selected in the hotbar, open your menu and drop an item by right-clicking with it outside your menu. Now when you exit your menu, your character will automatically use the fishing pole, tossing 2 lines at once. Rinse and repeat that process for as many fishing lines out as you want. Using the rod will pull in all the lines at once, each able to pull up its own item. Pull them up when you see a bunch of bobbing bobbers at once for a crazy amount of loot. If that's not enough for you, there's a real easy way to duplicate just about any item using bars, a chest, a trapdoor, a workbench, and an item frame. Set up the trapdoor like so. Place 4 bars, then the chest on top. Break the 2 lower bars and place your workbench in its place. Now destroy the chest and replace it with an item frame. And when you destroy the workbench, the item frame will be left by itself, floating next to the trapdoor. Now when you open or close the trapdoor, the item frame will update, breaking, but it also remains in place. Now when you right click on the item frame while holding an item, it'll be duplicated. There is another, more lucrative duplication glitch, though it is much less convenient. First, you have to be on a multiplayer server, which can be done if you just host and play your own world. Place 2 teleporters, one on top of the other, and then a moon monolith on top. Destroy the bottom teleporter, and right-click the monolith for unlimited monoliths, and thus, infinite money. Finally, let's end it with a minor oddity that arises when you use the post-Moonlord item, the portal gun, on NPCs. The portal gun allows you to shoot an orange and a blue portal, and NPCs that are unlucky enough to walk into one of them will come out the other side. They've just become a ball of light on both ends, and the portal will actually no longer transport the player. The NPC is stuck in an endless existence of teleportation. You could free them at any time, but let's just end it there. Thanks for watching.
One step, and then again, let's do the Mario all together now. You got it. It's the Mario. Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario. Take one step, and then again, let's do the Mario all together now.